Hi Flosstube, I'm Annie and I am the Proper Stitcher, and welcome to episode 127. If this is your first time joining me, this is a channel where I like to talk about cross stitch and hopefully give you inspiration to fully finish your projects. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support and all of your wonderful comments you send my way. I appreciate each and every one of you. So it's been a few weeks since my last episode. When I saw you a few weeks ago, I was on my way to Stitch, Florida, which was a retreat that I co-hosted with Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, and we held it in Orlando, Florida. So I want to save all of the details about the retreat for a separate Flosstube video. I had full intentions on going over all those details last week, but I unfortunately got sick with bronchitis, and this is really one of the first days I feel like I'm able to talk without coughing. So what I wanted to do today is share with you my 7 new releases for the Needlework Marketplace market. So these are all of my fall releases that will be available to shops next week, August the 23rd through the 26th at that virtual market. So let's go over the details on how this episode is going to work. I'm going to share with you all 7 releases. We'll pause and take a break in between each release so that you can take notes and I can take a sip of tea, and then we'll move on to the next release. I have a combination of true autumn designs and some Halloween designs and 2 samplers. One's a reproduction and one is an original sampler. So I cannot wait to share these with you. I cannot wait to get these in your shops and so you all can start stitching them. So at the end of the video, I will go over all of those details. So like I always say, grab a pen and paper, grab your favorite beverage, and grab your cross stitching, and let's get started. So I know a lot of cross stitchers out there that really like to decorate for fall. They like to decorate for autumn, not Halloween, but for autumn. And I'm one of those people now, the older that I get, and my children are older and I'm about to be an empty nester. And I wanted to create some designs that can truly be displayed in your home from September through Thanksgiving. And so you'll see in these designs, I'll have 3 autumn or fall time designs, and you'll see a lot of those soft, subtle colors. You'll see some bold autumn colors, but you'll also see some blues because I really do love blue. So the first one that I want to share with you is called Give Thanks. And the inspiration behind this piece is I really wanted to create something with a white pumpkin. I love to get all the funky gourds and all the fun pumpkins and put them on my front porch, and I always have to throw in a few white pumpkins in my displays, and fresh pumpkins and artificial plastic pumpkins. And so this design says, in all things, give thanks. This is, I'm going to come in and show you it up close, and then we'll talk about all those details, but I wanted to let you see some of the up close stitching. This was so much fun to design. This was so much fun to pull the flosses for, and I just really enjoyed creating this one. I love all the blues thrown in there, these little blue motifs, and then the wording is in blue. So this can be finished in many different ways, but I contacted my friend Chantel with 141 Design Company and told her I really wanted a white pumpkin. I wanted something for fall. I wanted something just different. And so she created this pumpkin board, and you can find it on her website. I'm not sure when she'll have it on there, probably soon, but it is called Plumpkin And that's the name of the pumpkin on her site. I've used her boards before. They're wonderful for finishing, and they come to you unpainted, so you can paint them to your taste and your liking, and they are super easy to paint. But this pumpkin is from Chantel 141 Design Company, and I'll go over all the details of the design in just a second. So let's take another peek. But this can be finished as a pillow. It can be finished on another board, but I just love this pumpkin. So you can display it on your kitchen counter, on a bookshelf, or just pretty much anywhere in your home. And it can stay out for the entire season. So let's go over all the details of Give Thanks. So this was finished on the board. I did finish it double mounted. And this is Tilda fabric, and this is from the new autumn release of the Tilda fabric. I can't remember the name of the fabric line, but this is the new autumn Tilda fabric. And I did use Lady Dot Creates Rick Rack, and this color is Mossy. So it's just double mounted. And then I had this twine in my stash. It is always available at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, and I just wanted something simple, and I wanted it to look like a vine. So I just wrapped it around the stem. And this is such a simple finish. So let's go over all the details of the stitched piece. So this is your pattern cover. Give Thanks. All of my patterns are printed in color, and they come in a resealable bag. And then I also provide a DMC color conversion for all of my charts. So Give Thanks. Here are all the details on Give Thanks. The stitch count is 115 stitches wide, 99 stitches high. The finished size is 6.5 by 5.5. I used 36 count Pistachio Frappe by Grace Notes Fabrics, and you use 1 strand of floss over 2 linen threads. So there is a combination of these are all Weeks Dye Works colors, and I have them all listed on the back of the chart. And then there is a DMC color conversion. Just keep in mind that with a DMC color conversion, you're not going to get the variegation, so there's going to be a slight difference. And I am mistaken. It's Weeks Dye Works is the blue, Deep Sea, and then all the other colors are the Gentle Art. And this pumpkin is in 2 different shades of white. We have parchment and oatmeal, so you get that really fun dimensional stitch for the pumpkin. So I would like to give a special thank you to Mickey Dupree for model stitching this design for me. She has model stitched for me in the past, and I am so thankful for her. Chantel with Chantel 141 Design, she has always been right there for me to provide a board for me and to offer some guidance and some ideas on finishing. Again, this pumpkin is called Plumpkin. And the Rick Rack is from Lady Dot Creates, and the color is Mossy. So one last peek at Give Thanks. And I hope you all enjoy stitching this one just as much as I enjoyed creating it and bringing it to you. And I think it'll be a beautiful display for your autumn stitching and decor. My next release requires just a little bit of a background story, so let me tell you a little bit about that, and then I'll share the design with you. This next release is going to be the start of a new series called Seasons of Generosity series, and it is inspired by Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 through 8, and I'm just going to read you a couple of lines from that. It says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So what I gather from this is I wanted to create a series that it will help serve us as a reminder to live our life and enjoy the gifts of God rather than earthly possessions, and a time to enjoy life in the midst of times that you may not be happy. And so I feel that a lot in my life, and music is a lot of things that bring me joy. And through music, I feel it brings a lot of us together. And so what I wanted to do is blend this series with the inspiration being from this verse, but also with songs that inspire me. And so the very first one is for autumn, and it is We Gather Together. Some of these songs may be Bible hymns, some of them may be Christmas carols, and some of them just may be, current music. But this one is We Gather Together, which is also inspired by a hymn of the same name, We Gather Together. And so I wanted to incorporate all of the autumn colors. I wanted it to be something to continue that theme of us gathering together at Thanksgiving or at the holidays. And I wanted to pull in all of those fall colors. I absolutely love these trees. These trees are from a antique sampler that I have, and I will share that sampler with y'all someday. But I just love the trees. I think that they remind me of topiaries. I love how they're just a unique shape. I blended 2 colors of green to give them a little bit of dimension. I added the bow just because I wanted to make it a little bit more modern. Of course, we cannot have a fall piece without pumpkins and squirrels. I love gray and black together, and I wanted to just pull in all of these colors so that you can use this throughout the entire autumn season. We've got some crows up in the vine, and then we have just scattered motifs to fill in the background. So I just absolutely love this. And also what the inspiration or the start of this series was, I was asked by the Chatterbox Stitchers retreat this summer to create a Christmas piece. So I designed a Christmas pattern, and that was the first one in this series, really, but it will not be released until I release my Christmas designs, which will probably be the end of September or early October. So this is the first one in this series to be released to the public, but I already have the Christmas one ready to go, and I can't wait to share it with you. But this is We Gather Together, and I'm going to go over all the details with you. So here's your pattern cover. We gather together. And here are all of the details. So this is the Season of Generosity series, and it is inspired by Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. And I just did a brief version of that verse. For everything there is a season and time for every purpose under heaven. This series will feature songs that are designed to fill your home with joy each season. So the stitch count will always be the same. The house will probably change from time to time, but for the most part, they'll be the same shape of this sampler. So the stitch count is 183 wide by 111 high. The finished size is 10 inches and 10 1/8 inch by 6 1/8 inch. The fabric that this one is stitched on is 36 count heirloom by Needle Bling Designs. And I used 1 strand of floss over 2 strands of linen threads. And there is All Weeks Dye Works floss in this. There is a DMC color conversion. And I would like to thank Ramona Bishop with Bennett in Knoxville for her talented framing. She always does a beautiful job framing for me. And Michelle Stoner for her beautiful model stitching. So this is We Gather Together. And I'm so excited about this one. I love the frame and I love the colors. So I hope you all enjoy this and that it just brings your home so much joy and peace when it's on display. It is just one of my favorite pieces. So We Gather Together. Next up, I have a very small reproduction sampler that I just fell in love with when I saw the original sampler. And I just wanted to continue with my small samplers that I bring to you for those of you who want to stitch samplers, but you don't want a large sampler. And I think we found that in Frances Grayson, 1863. This is just the sweetest size sampler. It is a very quick stitch and it is just so much fun. I like to say that Miss Frances Grayson packs a lot of punch with this beautiful color palette and these little motifs. She just had some fun colors in this sampler. It was so much fun pulling the floss for this. Let me come in so you can take a peek and we'll go over all the details, of course. But I just had so much fun pulling the floss. This is stitched in silks. So it's using Classic Colorworks Belle Soie silks. But I do have a DMC conversion. I loved how her name was stitched in 2 different colors. And of course, my daughter's name is Gray, and that's what caught my attention was the last name Grayson in this sampler. My daughter's not a Grayson, but I loved how Gray was stitched in purple and Sun was stitched in green. And it just spoke to me and called to me, and I just absolutely had to get my hands on this little sampler. I love that it had a little cross in it, a couple of crowns and dogs, and a butterfly, and here's another crown, and the flowers and the heart. It was just such a sweet little sampler, and I loved all the colors. So I had to get her, I had to reproduce her immediately. I never know when I get my samplers when I'm going to reproduce them. Sometimes, you would think you would do them in the order that you receive them, but sometimes some of them speak to me and I want to reproduce them right away. And this was one of them. I wanted this to be released as soon as possible because I loved all the things about it. So let's take another look at Frances Grayson, and then I'll give you all of the details. And I just love everything about her. So let's go over the details. Here's your pattern cover. Frances Grayson, 1863. And I am so excited to tell you about this new linen. So be ready, new to me, new linen to me. So this is stitched, the stitch count on this sampler is 94 wide by 119 high. The finished size is 5 1/4 inches wide by 6 5/8 inches high. So she's a small sampler. It was stitched on 36 count T Earl Grey hot by Lapin Loops, which is the first time I have used this her linen, and it is absolutely beautiful. Lapin Loops. It is using 1 strand of floss over 2 strands of linen. And the Belle Soie Classic Colorwork colors are just absolutely beautiful. The reason I wanted to use the Belle Soie Classic Colorworks is because there is a lot of variegation with that silk floss, and I really wanted to have that variegation in this reproduction because it just really makes all the colors stand out and pop, and it's just so pretty on this linen. But there is a DMC color conversion, but just keep in mind that because of the variegation, it will not show up in the DMC. You can also convert to just regular classic colorworks if you did not want to do silk or DMC, but the silks are beautiful. A special thank you to Ramona Bishop, again at Bennett in Knoxville, for framing this for me, and Amy Raffa for model stitching this sampler. She has model stitched for me before, and she does a beautiful job, and she said she really did enjoy stitching on this linen. So that is Frances Grayson, 1863, and she is just the sweetest little sampler. I hope you all enjoy stitching her, and again, if you are not a sampler stitcher or you want a small sampler, this is just the perfect size. Who is ready for the next two releases of the Celebrate You series? You may remember in the spring, I started Celebrate You series, which I started with Lucky You. And then in summer, I released Sew You and Patriotic You. So this time we are going to release Boo You and Thankful for You. Oh, I should have turned this way. Thankful for You. So we have these two to go over next. I am so excited about these. Let's do Boo You first because it comes first in the season with Halloween. So this is Boo You. And I had so much fun designing this one because I do like Halloween. I think it is so much fun. And when my children were little, we had all the cutesy Halloween decorations out. And this just reminds me of those times. We have this adorable witch, and then we have the same U. As I told y'all before, the U will always be the same color, which is Weeks Dye Works Parchment and Onyx. So in this one, we have a spider hanging from the basket of pumpkins, which is on the back of the U. We have our witch who's holding her broom. And then we have the bats and the stars and the moon and the pumpkins on the ground. And I just love her dress, the colors. It's a good shade of grays and purple and green. And I just love everything about this. There is some back stitching. So you've got back stitching on the broom down here, just to give you that little bit of detail. And then of course the spiders hanging from the witch's hat and the basket, they're just hanging by a back stitch. Such a fun little pattern. So let me give you all of the details on Boo You. Now, just like with my other U's, they are all finished on the Chantel 141 Design small bender board. And I've shown y'all before where you can do magnets on the back of it. If you want to reuse the board with each season, you can just simply remove the stitch piece and plop it on with the magnets. So you can have just one board but change out the stitched piece on it. So if you want to see how I did that, I showed that in my last new release video. But this is the small bender board. Great board for this series. So here is your pattern cover, Boo You. And here are all the details. So with this series, all of the stitch count is always the same. The board is always going to be the same. And the fabric will always be the same. So here we go. The stitch count is 70 high by 70 wide. The finished size is 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. And the fabric used is 32 count Pistachio Frappe by Grace Notes Fabrics. And you use 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. This one has a combination of DMC, Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and the Gentle Art. And yes, there is a DMC conversion for the entire color list. The finishing board is from Chantel's 141 Design Company, and it's the plain bender board small. I did paint these boards. Chantel has wonderful tutorials on her YouTube channel. So this one, the colors used for painting the boards, and it's all on the back of the pattern. Little black dress for the black of the stand. Bead board and sandy blonde are used for the board. A special thank you to Michelle Stoner for model stitching this for me. And all I did is I got a black on black fabric and used it as the backing. And then I used that same fabric to make a covered button and put it on the board. Such a cute little witch, so much fun to stitch and design and display. And I hope you love her just as much as I do. Look at her little face. So that is Boo You. And then the next one in the series is Thankful for You. Again, I wanted to continue with the Thanksgiving designs. I wanted to bring you something that can be in your home on Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people who decorate for Thanksgiving, and it's just so much fun to have this out. I did use, again, Tilda fabric on this. So this is a new autumn line of the Tilda fabric. And then I used the same fabric for the covered button. But the stitching is, I'll go over all those details in just a minute. But we have this fun tree blowing in the wind. We have our ewe who has almost like a table runner on his back with our cute turkey. And our girl is holding a pumpkin pie. And I just love all the colors. There is a little bit of back stitching in this too. In the middle of the leaves, you can see the same shade of the leaf. You have back stitching down the middle, just to give it a little bit of depth and dimension. And I did the same on the feathers of the turkey. The turkey has this cute top hat. He is just ready for Thanksgiving dinner. Hopefully he's not the one that is being eaten. He's just attending the dinner. But such a cute little turkey. I just love this design. I love autumn stitching, and I just had so much fun pulling these colors. Her dress is one of my favorite shades. It's called Whiskey, and that is a Weeks Dye Works color, and it's just such a beautiful fall color. So let's go over the details of Thankful for You. This is your pattern cover. And here are all the details. This stitch count is 70 wide by 70 high. And I need to double check that. I'm beginning to think that might be a typo. But 70 wide by 70 high. The finished size is 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. The fabric used is 32 count pistachio frappe by Grayson Fabrics. And you do use 2 strands of floss over 2 linen threads. This one does have a combination of DMC floss and Weeks Dye Works, and there is a DMC conversion provided. The finishing board is the same. It's the Chantel 141 Design Company. And Michelle Stoner, thank you for being a model stitcher for this piece. So those are our 2 U's. I will have a Christmas U that will be released with my Christmas designs into September, early October. So we have Boo You and Thankful for You. And those are our 2 U's in the Celebrate You series that will be released next. And the 6th release that I have this time around is a Halloween release. And these I'm so excited about because the inspiration behind this next release is I really wanted to create an elegant Halloween design. I don't want the spooky Halloween. I don't want the bold colors. I just wanted something simple, elegant, classic, timeless, a little something for everyone. And so that is what I hope I've created. I think I've created in this next one called Hollow's Manor. And this is going to be hard to do, but this is a collection of 3 pillows, and I'm going to share all 3 with you, of course. But this collection of 3 pillows was just inspired by that elegant Halloween. So let's go over all of them. I'll show you each one up close. This is the first one. And on the back of the pattern, I do have individual stitch counts. So I titled them all, just kind of a brief description. This one I'm calling Manor. And the title of the series, the collection is called Hollow's Manor. So this is Manor. And they are all finished into these these little pillows. And thank you, Jan Calvert, for your beautiful finishing. But they have the ruching that goes all the way around. And these beautiful decorative pins are from Jersey Girl Stitch Company. And so I'll show you those up close too. But here's the first one. This is Manor. And we've got a big manor, almost on like a pedestal, with all of these crows and jack-o'-lanterns and an owl. Just a really elegant, simple piece. Then we have this one, All Hallows Eve. We have bats and spiders, and again on this one we have this little spider hanging down here. So on this one we have bats and we have spiders. We have this beautiful little border, the same finishing. So the collection is Quaker inspired with some of these motifs. So you might see some of that coming through. And this is October 31. Again, more of our spiders. We have crows on this one. That border that mirrors this border. And the border also mirrors this top border on this one. So this is a smaller one. And then more of the ruching around the side and the pillows. Just such a fun and quick collection of Halloween pillows. And you can display these in a dough bowl. You can display them on, what I did with this is I have just a silver type tray with a black lace, and you can place them on top of that, put them on a coffee table or just any display like that. But here are the details of the 3 pillows. So here's your pattern cover, Hollow's Manor. And here are all the details. So we have the stitch count for Manor, which is the larger of the 3. The stitch count is 111 by 99. So the finished size of this is 6 1/8 by 5 1/2. And this is, all 3 of these are stitched on 36 count pumpkin pie, which is a soft orange. So it's pumpkin pie by Needle Bling Designs. There are so many possibilities with this. You can truly make this your own. You can stitch it on any fabric you want. You can change the color of the floss. The possibilities are endless. But I used on these the Gentle Art Carriage Black, which gives you a very soft black gray variegation. So if you want it bolder, you can change it to a darker color, a darker black. But you are using 1 strand of floss over 2 on the 36 count. Thank you so much to my sweet and dear friend and just a true crown straightener, Jennifer Alley, for model stitching these for me. Her stitching is beautiful. The decorative pins are from Jersey Girl Stitch Company. I have used Teresa's pins for so long. She does a beautiful job. She is naming these Hollow's Manor so that you can easily find them on her website. And they are absolutely gorgeous with a black bird and this beautiful, almost like a pearl bead here that looks like a pumpkin, and then we've got this crystal and black silver bead. So pretty. And the finishing trim is from Lady Dot Creates, and that is licorice. Let me look at the package. I know I have that somewhere, but it's licorice, and it's this. And Jan Calvert did all the finishing for me, but it's this kind of ribbon, and she did the ruching. So let me show you. It's Lady Dot Create, and this is the rayon ribbon, and the color is licorice. So that is Hallows Manor, or this is Manor. And then the next one is All Hallows Eve pillow. So the details on this one, it's 107 by 75. So that makes the finish size 6 inches by 4 1/8. And the finishing is all the same. And let you see it up close. And then the last little pillow, this is October 31st or 31. And this is, the stitch count is 67 by 67. And the finish size is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And you can even see Jan added these little beads. So again, thank you so much to Jan Calvert for finishing this for me. Thank you so much for Jenny for model stitching all of these for me. And I just, like I said, I just really wanted that elegant Halloween decor, something that you can just have fun with it. Just make it I can see candlesticks or mercury glass bowls, just all kinds of different ways of displaying it. So Hallows Manor, and you've got a collection of 3 pillows in that one pattern. I feel like my last release requires a little bit of a background story. It requires a little bit of an explanation because it's very near and dear to my heart. It is something that I feel like I want to explain the meaning behind this new release. If you have met me, if you have been around my videos for a while or watched my videos for a while, you have heard me say there is room at the table for everyone. And I do feel like that requires a little bit of an explanation. When I started this journey 3 years ago was just to be a floss tuber. And I reached out to people. I did my research. I talked to people. I wanted to truly have all of the information that I could possibly gather so that I can then start that journey. And that's what I did for my comfort level. I needed to do that to make this process more enjoyable for me. And so that's how I began this journey. And in doing so, I contacted some people. A lot of people were very willing to share their information and share their knowledge. Some people were a little bit more guarded with their information, and that's okay too. But I just feel like in anything that we do going forward, or anything we do, not only in the cross stitch community, but in our professional lives and our personal lives with friends, with family, that we all have knowledge and information that we can share to build a community and to bring us all together and to make someone else feel included or valued or important, and that you hear that person, and that person does matter, and that person does have a purpose in whatever that community may be. And so when I was setting out on my designing journey, I did the same thing. I talked to several cross-stitch designers, and I gathered so much helpful and wonderful inspiration. I gathered so much knowledge, and I am so forever grateful for those designers who were comfortable sharing that information and realizing that I may bring something to the table that they may not bring to the table, and therefore that will bring someone else to the table. So we're not all the same. We're not all going to create the same things, but we do have something of value that we want to share. Again, not just with the cross stitch community, but with any community that you are in. And so this next design is titled There Is Room, and it truly is inspired by my journey through this cross stitch world and through this cross stitch community. And I hope that it inspires you to create room at your table for other people to come and join you, and to just spread knowledge, spread joy, spread just that camaraderie. And it's not just in the cross stitch community, again, it's in anything you do. So without further ado, I cannot wait to share with you all There Is Room at the Table for Everyone. So There Is Room at the Table for Everyone is inspired also by Quaker motifs. You all know that I enjoy stitching Quakers, and this is one that I wanted to create in a monochromatic, very simple design, very simple piece, because I feel like the message speaks volumes, and that is the true design of this piece. And I wanted it to stay monochromatic for that reason. So what I did is I have it designed in 2 colorways, just so you can see the endless possibilities of this design, because it is monochromatic. So you can pick your fabric, you can pick your floss color, you can make it your own. I even spoke with someone today who said that she's going to make it for every season. So she's going to change the colors so that she can have it out seasonally. And I have met so many wonderful people on this journey. And I've mentioned her before. I mentioned her in this episode, Jenny Alley with the Bougie Stitchers. She and Nancy are true crown straighteners. And I feel like we gain so much more by lifting each other up than by tearing each other down. And so that is really the message that I want to live by, I want to design by, I want to bring to you, that I do value everyone, and I do want everyone to be at my table, because I know that we all learn from each other. So let me share these 2 with you. So this one is stitched on 32 count, and it is using Gloriana Silk Swamp Water. The reason I wanted to use silk, this one's also using silk. The reason I wanted to stitch these in silk is because I know a lot of you have been wanting to try silk, but you don't want to invest in purchasing a lot of different silk floss. So a monochromatic piece is the perfect way to try silk floss for the first time to see if you enjoy it. And then you don't have a huge investment. You're just buying 1 skein of floss, and then you can see if you like it. This one is Gloriana Swamp Water. So in this design, we have several Quaker motif samplers. I love the butterfly. It's a standard, in the rows, those are both standard Quaker motif pieces. I love the birds down here. And it's half of a heart, reminding you that there is room at the table. And then we have these fun motifs throughout. So this style, this font style, is very similar to a Quaker style font. Again, it keeps it simple. I had to add a crown because that is to remind us to straighten each other's crown while they're at our table too. So there is room at the table for everyone. That is one way to stitch it. The other one is, if you want to try your hand at a fun fabric color, this is Windsong by Grayson Fabrics. And this floss is Oatmeal Scone Belle Soie Classic Colorworks. So this one's stitched on 36 count. So let's go over all the details of this pattern. Here's your pattern cover. There is room. And I included this on the cover so you can see that there are several different options here. So let's go over the details. The stitch count is 109 wide by 136 high. The finished size on 32 count is 6 7/8 by 8 5/8. That's on the 32 count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim, using 2 strands of floss over 2 strands of linen. This one was used Gloriana Silk Floss Swamp Water. What I love about that swamp water is you pick up subtle hints of purple and green in that. It is just, it's hard to see, but it is such a beautiful floss color. So that's using the 32 count Gloriana with the Gloriana. This one is, the finished size on this one is 6 inches by 7 5, excuse me, I can't read my own typing. Finished size is 6 inches wide by 7 5/8 high. This color of fabric is 36 count Windsong by Grace Notes, and the floss was Bella Soie oatmeal scone, using 1 strand of floss over 2. Because this is stitched on 36 count, it is 1 strand of floss over 2. So let's see. Some special thank yous. Michelle Stoner model stitched this one for me. Thank you so much, Michelle. She has beautiful stitching. And then my very dear friend Dawn Eck offered to model stitch this one for me. It was her idea to try it in another colorway, just so that you all can see the endless possibilities. So thank you so much, Dawn, for stitching this for me. And Ramona Bishop with Bennett in Knoxville, Tennessee, thank you so much for your framing talents. She is amazing. I just love Ramona. And there's room at the table, or this is actually called There's Room, but there's room at the table for everyone. And I just absolutely love these. I am so excited to bring these to you. I hope that it inspires you, and it inspires you that if there's something new that you want to do or to try, ask around, talk to people. You would be amazed at how many people are just givers of their knowledge, and it is so helpful. And then you then have the knowledge to share with someone else if they need help in the future. So I hope everybody keeps that in mind with There Is Room. So There Is Room is my last release for all of my autumn releases. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. I'll tell you how you can order these new designs. So as I mentioned earlier, Needlework Marketplace is a virtual online wholesale market. It is open to needlework retailers, online and brick and mortar. And so the event takes place August the 23rd through the 26th. So that's next weekend. So shops, I have emailed all the shops that are participating in the marketplace. I emailed them a newsletter with photos of everything that's going to be released and all those details, the fabric that I use, the color of floss that I use, the stitch count, all those things. They got all that information, and some of them are creating posts on their social media. I've also created posts on my social media with all the same information. I did all of that in one day. I usually don't like to do that, but I felt like I had to make up for lost time from being sick. So we have all that information available to you, and what you do is you contact your favorite brick and mortar store or online store and say, I'd like to place an order, the proper stitcher patterns, and then you list all the ones. And I know a lot of stores are keeping a list, and then they're waiting to contact designers and let them know what those pre-orders are. So 2 different ways. Shops have already started to pre-order through me. and a lot of them will wait until the weekend of the event to place the orders. So if there's something you want, just contact that shop, tell them what you want, and then each shop has their own way of doing their pre-orders. But then they order directly through me, and these items that are pre-ordered will not be shipped until the very first day of the market, which is August 23rd. And then if they place an order with me that weekend, it goes out as they come in. So I have everything printed, ready to go. I have one typo I think I need to switch on the U's. I think I put the wrong stitch count, but other than that, everything looks good. So they will place the order with me, and I will not have these items available on my Etsy shop until 4 weeks after market. You all know I'm a firm believer in supporting our needlework shops. I really want you to get your patterns through them so that they can kit it for you, pull the floss, pull the fabric, pull all those things for you and send it to you. So in doing so, I will wait 1 month, 4 weeks before I release these in my Etsy shop. So I will then, so that covers this fall market. So I have 7 designs. I'm so excited to get these patterns out to you. And then I will have a separate Christmas release, and that is not associated with the market. That will be me directly releasing them to shops or through Hoffman, which is a wholesale distributor. And then I'll do the same when those are released. I will wait a few weeks before I put them on my Etsy shop. So with that being said, I hope you took good notes. If you have any questions, email me, contact your shops. Let's place some orders, have them kitted for you. And I hope that you saw something you liked, and I hope that you enjoy stitching these. I can't wait to see them on social media. And if you stitch something of mine, let me know. I'd love to see it. So until then, thank you so much for your support, and I will be back in a week or so with all of my regular floss tubes. So I hope you have a great week, and see you soon.